Just now we saw the historical parallel of Prince Rama being banished. Now let us see whether we have got the warrior Rama parallel in actual history. Is there? How to find out? The source should be reliable, not a folklore or any rumor or something. The source is really creditable. It is the Mahavamsha. There are two literatures in Sri Lankan Buddhism. One is Mahavamsha, second is Deepavamsha. In Mahavamsha, chapter 21, a very brief but catching period is there where two brothers from mainland India who are Tamil. This word Tamil is spoken as Damil in Buddhist literature. Two brothers who are Tamil in origin, they attack Sri Lanka and they capture it. It looks very small, insignificant event. In fact, if you go to Wikipedia about this event, you will find very small description. But this particular war or change of rule in Sri Lanka is very, very significant in history of world. Why? Because this war was not fought by any king. One king attacks another king, second king attacks third king, brother fighting, take over by the general, court politics. This is very, very common all over the world. The different thing in this war was these two brothers were not noble. They were not princes. They were not any from any royal family supported by any king. But they commanded a huge army of people. And these two brothers happened to be sons of a trader. And the trader was trading in horses. The trader and his sons used to bring ships full of horses. They sell to Sri Lankan people, army, and then go back. Something happened that it doesn't tell what happened. What was the trigger? Something happened. Because of that, these two just traders' sons collected a large army from mainland India, crossed the sea, and attacked a very powerful monarch of Sri Lanka. His name was Suratissa. As we saw, Tissa is a common thing at that time. Tissa means prince or king. Sura, his name was Sura. And this Suratissa was attacked and defeated by these two brothers. And afterwards, they ruled over Sri Lanka for 22 years. Now, this Tissa, who is this Suratissa? Suratissa just happens to be one among nine brothers of another previous king called as Muttasiva. Muttasiva and his nine sons, one by one, almost all were rulers of Sri Lanka. Only that gap of 22 years and one more gap. So that gap was actually non-Buddhist rule over Sri Lanka. The first incidence of Tamil Hindus going to Sri Lanka, defeating the Buddhist kings there, and establishing rule there. And even that Buddhist chronicle tells that that rule was a just rule. There was no any unfairness or inequality in that particular rule. Now, this particular two brothers from India going collecting a large army of common people and all those things can be absolutely a coincidence. Yes, it can be coincidence. But if you take the political ecosystem behind that, then you understand the significance of it. What is political ecosystem? It starts with Kalinga. For Kalinga is nothing but the coastal region starting right from Bangladesh to West Bengal to Orissa to Andhra Pradesh. So this eastern coast of India, a very rich Kalinga kingdom. It was democratic kingdom. It was not ruled by an emperor or a single king or something. One king is there. It is elected by people, representatives of people. This Kalinga had got two colonies. One is Sri Lanka, second is Lakshadweep, Maldives. So these are the islands in Indian Ocean which were used as a colony come penal colony. Means suppose something happens, banishment happens, then these people are actually shifted forcibly to the islands. And they establish their rule there, they have got their own system there and all those things. This disturbed big way by a big war, Kalinga War. Kalinga War was the defining moment of Ashokan's life. So he defeated Kalinga completely, and lakhs were killed, and lakhs were injured. But the different aspect of it, lakhs and lakhs were banished to these islands. Now, these banished people also will live there, but key thing came up when Ashoka's son, called Mahindra, came to Sri Lanka. And you can imagine the disturbance in mind of contemporary Sri Lankans, who were actually Kalingans. Kalinga people come to Sri Lanka after defeat, and suddenly the son of the enemy, but present ruler, comes there and requests only one simple thing: convert to Buddhism. And they get converted. So, de facto, this Sri Lanka is a projection of power structure of Ashoka, Mauryan Empire only. Because Mahindra brought not only religion, but language, scriptures, Bodhi tree, and culture, architecture, everything. So, for practical reasons, this particular Sri Lankan kingdom is a projection of Mauryan kingdom. At that time, the Mauryan kingdom was actually everywhere in Indian subcontinent, right from Afghanistan to Bengal and from Gujarat to Sri Lanka, completely. But there was a small exception, Cholas. They're the southernmost tip of India, Cholas, Pallavas. But they were also actually not completely going against this mighty empire. And when this sort of situation is there, how come a war happens? And when two common people collect a large army of common people, again, without any explicit support of any king, there can be tacit support, but no explicit support. Nobody can dare. And they cross the sea. And then they defeat Sri Lanka and they control the power. And Mauryans are unable to get it back from them. It was quite easy. They were not possible. It was not possible for 22 years they ruled there. So this particular war is very unusual and defining moment. And from that war onwards, the Mauryan Empire starts contracting, and then actually becomes a very local, regional kingdom. So this conversion from empire back to kingdom, the triggering point appears to be this Sri Lankan war. Now, this particular such a big war, why people forgot? Because history is written or Puranas are written by the winners, usually kings they sponsor. Here, there are common people's revolt. We can call it as a revolt because it was not king involved here. Now, this particular thing forgotten by people, war or Wikipedia, like think they don't give any importance to it. But have we forgotten the war? Really? No. In Indian mythology, Indian folklores, Indian Puranas, they have got their own way of remembering the events. Now remember this name of the king, Sri Lankan king, is Sura. That is the killing of the Sura. Maybe he was good or bad, we don't know. But can we have a similar analogy in current biggest festival of Tamilnadu? Very specific festival. And that festival's name is called Sura Sammaram, killing the demon called Sura. Who kills Sura? Who kills Sura is Kartik. Kartik and his brother Vishaka. Again, two brothers. Again, same island. A golden palace there. A demon living there. Crossing the sea there. War happening there. Fight happening there. And good guys win, bad guys lose. So, Sura Sammaram is one more way of remembering this big war, an unusual war, which gave us back what is called as democracy. Now, democracy cannot be called as democracy in current sense because kings were there, but no empire. From that day onwards, no emperor was able to rule India ever in life. So, this particular peculiar political system and these two brothers actually are quite parallel to concept of Ram Lakshman, and they are not in power, collecting a ragtag army of local people, crossing the sea and going to Sri Lanka. But is it sufficient enough to call Ramayana as anti-Ashoka literature? I don't think so. There should be extra evidence for that. Let us find what is extra evidence. Extra evidence comes in two forms: name of the hero itself and birth date of the hero itself. Our hero is Ram. How this Ram concept came? Ram, because earlier also other many Rams are there. Parashuram is there, Balaram is there. Ram is a common epithet used by many real people or factual people before that, after that also. What is the relationship of Ram with Emperor Ashoka? Is there? What is there? Is there Ashoka converted into Buddhism? Not at the time of Kalinga War, as he shows in this one. Actually, it happened 8 years earlier. Some Buddhist monk actually explained to him, and some miracle happened, and then he got converted into Buddhism. That monk told that there is a mission for you. What is the mission? At the time of death of Gautam Buddha, his remains, skeletal remains of his burned body, some bones were remaining that were distributed in 8 stupas. And these 8 stupas were there around in the kingdom. But now we want to convert kingdom into empire. How to convert? Along with the religious spread, is that these 8 remains had to be distributed into 8,400 parts. And these 8,400 stupas are to be built all over the empire. Now, how to build that? First of all, we have to get into the stupa. Stupa is actually a structure which is built at the center of the structure. There is a skeletal remain of the Gautam Buddha. How to get this? We have to break them open. We have to destroy the stupas. And he destroyed not one, not two, all 7 stupas destroyed. And the ashes were taken. So we can imagine people's reaction. This was actually not a good way to actually celebrate or respect a great thinker like Gautam Buddha. So this particular 7 stupas were broken, ashes or all those things were taken and then distributed to various places. Only one stupa was remaining. That stupa, local people had a revolt. They resisted. And even Ashoka, Emperor Ashoka came personally to break the stupa. But people said, no, enough. Enough of this ambitious and aggressive plan, of destructive plan. This is not actually theology or philosophy. It is one-upmanship. You want to prove yourself. And there's one great person like Gautam Buddha has died preaching non-violence. And you're breaking the stupa and taking out and all those things. That because the resistance was so fierce that even Ashoka's army has to back off. And what was the name of that village? That village is at present in Nepal. The name of the village is Ramagram. The first village, first resistance to this particular dictatorship of Ashoka came from Ramagram. So Ramagrama, Rama, so many Rampurs and Ramnagar, so many there are all over India's continent. What is the specific difference in this Ramagrama? Every Rampur or Ramnagar or Ramananagar, anywhere with this one, always there is a Rama's temple. But this is a peculiar village. Ramagrama does not have Rama's temple. Because Rama is a god, it's preceded by Rama as a mythological character, preceded by the resistance to Ashoka, and that is happened in Ramagram. Now, Rama is opposite to Mara. There is a demon in Buddhist literature and Ramagrama. So everything fits together. But still, it is not sufficient. How can you say that? This can be imagination, no? This one, Ramayana, Ashoka, this one. If you go to the birth date chosen of Rama's birth, now we know Ram Navami, where all the processions are taken all over India and all these things, drama happens, some people object to it, some slogans are shouted and all those things. And some typical politically charged processions are there, Ram Navami processions. Is it a recent? No. Before Ram Navami comes Ashtami. And what is that Ashtami? In whole India, it is Ashoka Ashtami, Ashoka's birthday. Ashoka Ashtami. Immediately next day, there is a Rama Navami, Rama's birthday. Ashoka is a historical character. Rama is a imagined character, specifically born for actually counteracting this Ashoka's empire. So these two wars, the birth date, name called Rama, all match up, but still don't believe in this. More is yet to come. See.